going to start off way back at the beginning. So when did you first discover your love for music?
Ooh, that's a hard. Well, it's not a hard one. I think because I do all sorts of things to do with music, but I think for me, I can remember being in the bath. You're in the bath. You're like, I don't know, about 7 or whatever, and like, you know, like not the plug hole, but the other bit, like at the end of the bath. That used to be my mic for like pretending to be a radio presenter. It's like, it was weird. You didn't like kind of think that when I hit 16, I'd be doing pirate radio, but that kind of started things off for me, I think.
That's sick.
Then again, actually, when I was 5, I was Santa Claus for the Christmas play. I can't remember the song, but yeah, there was a song. And I sang and I got in the newspaper. I was dressed up as Santa Claus, so yeah, it was like, whatever.
Would you say that your family played a role in your passion for music and producing?
Do you know what? Yeah, but it's not in the conventional way that you would think. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, come on son, here's the guitar, kind of a thing. It's kind of part of the culture.
Yeah.
My sister, it's funny because like my sister was into kind of like the 80s kind of rare groove kind of thing, the UK stuff and American stuff, and kind of like the disco moving into rare groove kind of thing. But I didn't like it. I didn't like it because like Soul Train and stuff was on when the cartoons were on. So it's kind of like, and it's like I'm not winning against my sister. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like you hear that music, and then like my dad had hi-fi system, and he used to play like reggae. I think there was like country music there as well. Do you know what I mean? My mum had her music as well, and some of the tracks that she listened to was actually Nigerian. I didn't even know that until like I was older.
Oh wow!
But it was like, so yeah, it's kind of like that Jamaican influence, the music. My dad, like I said, the hi-fi system, so I got into like decks and stuff. But then, I wasn't supposed to be touching it. So if I touched anything, because my cousin, who had the sound system, was the person that set up everything. So you have the amplifier, you got the tuner, the radio, you got the tape deck, and you got the record player. So if anything happens, the needle breaks, out comes the belt licks. You scratch the records, licks. But for me, I'm just inquisitive. I wanted to know what everything was. I wanted to try and scratch. Do you know what I mean? It was all those sort of things. So yeah, I kind of got into that technology. So.
And what was the moment where you'd say it changed from being like a hobby and an interest into something that you as pursuing as like a career? What was that kind of changing point?
I think that's when I got into hip hop, and I got into hip hop, and it was that kind of thing of like me and my best friend, we like formed a hip hop group called the Rapscallions, and it's kind of like he was the serious one, the cool one, and I was the funny one, and like we started write rhymes and stuff, and then it was kind of trying to like I was trying to make the beats and stuff, and we were like, oh yeah, we're gonna get signed, and then there was other people that kind of came together and stuff like from around Leeds. So I met a guy called Monkey, and he was from Armley, and it was kind of like, right, okay, somebody from he wasn't from like Chapeltown where everybody else was, do you know what I mean? He was from Armley, a white guy, do you know what I mean? And it's kind of like, right, there's other people around that are into hip hop, so it's making that connection, and then it was kind of like pockets of people coming together. We formed like the Invisible Circle, so it's kind of like that was when we kind of built kind of a force together that said, like, we're going to put stuff out, we're going to actually sort of like help each other out, and sort of kind of mentored each other, do you know what I mean? Because we were real. We were just like, right, you're more of a producer or a DJ than a rapper, so maybe you leave that bit and concentrate on this. That's realness, because you can have your friends, and your friends will be like, oh yeah, that's dope, that's that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, no. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what's good is good, and what's not is not. Do you know what I mean? So,
because quality at a certain point is not subjective. It's clear. You can always tell what's a great song, what's, you know.
Real hip hop knows what is whack. Do you know what I mean? So
that is very, very, very true. You said you got introduced to hip hop at that point. What was the first song that you heard that changed it all?
Right. I remember Carnival and Welcome to the Terrordome was played. That was when I loved hip hop, because it was like big massive speakers, twice my size, the bass is there was a few kids in the streets, and we just started just dancing, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was just like, you heard bits of hip hop and stuff, but it was then it was just like, yeah, this is for me.
It's amazing. When did you get your first DJing gig?
That was back when I was youth club. So it was basically, it was, I think if I got the order right, it was doing the youth club with my friend Killer Jules Julian. We both was starting to mix like live, and then I think round about the same time or before that, it was doing pirate radio. And like we were only like 16, I think. Yeah. Got our first radio show. So it was kind of like those two things together, and through that kind of learning how to kind of mix. I remember doing my first mix live on radio. It's like, I've done it. Yeah. But it's literally like practicing for half an hour live on radio every week. And then it's just like, at one point, it's just like, right, I've mastered how to mix amazing. Records. And so, but when you're young, you don't realise, because you're not doing it on social media where somebody can respond to it. So, exactly. So like when you're just doing it on radio, it's kind of like, and plus it's a predominantly like reggae kind of station, so they're not expecting mixing. It's just one after the other. Yeah. So kind of the pressure's not there, but once you've got it, it's kind of like, right, okay, cool.
And the thing is, mastering the art of mixing is really, 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 it's a tough skill, because I've been out to nights out where the DJs, to get between tracks, they genuinely talk. So like, how's everyone doing tonight? Have a good night. Alright, let's up. We got this tune. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. So being able to blend between, and then obviously adding your ad-libs in when needed, it's like, that's a skill. Yeah. And talking about that kind of creative process, when you're making a track, how do you start? What's your whole process?
Ooh, right. It depends. But I think it's a bit like my first beat tape that I put out, Something You Feel. It's kind of, I like to go with how the mood takes me. So yeah, that's better, because you can do things with a purpose, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I can run off like 4 or 5 tracks, and like there might be romantic ones, and then another one might be more hardcore, another few that might be more jolly or like chilled out. And sometimes it's about just how you feel. So it's like I might be listening specifically for certain records that matches my mood. So there might be like I might be listening to a song that's a love song, and it's got, I don't know, something in the chorus, and it's just like, right, okay, cool. But I might be feeling sad another day, and then do you know what I mean? I'll hear a song that's just like, yeah, that's how I'm feeling. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I'm going to use that one. But sometimes it's just whatever's material's given to me. But I have to have something that kind of jerks a response, if that makes sense. That triggers that creativity. So,
and on that note, what would you say is like your favourite project that you've worked on? That's always a hard one, because everything you work on is like your own little child. So it's like,
yeah, because all my projects, it's like asking, which is your favourite kid. But you can love your kids because they've got different personalities. Exactly. So like my projects have all got different personalities. So like Something You Feel, for me, that beat tape was, that one was clever, because the concepts kind of fell with it, but like the ad-libs that are in there, that's what I mean, it's that incidental, but it kind of does explain the whole project. So when the guy's talking and stuff, and he's like, he's talking about music. Yeah. So I've got songs that are quiet, and the ad-libs work with that, and then there's more hardcore stuff, and the ad-libs work with that. So for that was brilliant. That was genius. That, you know, I found the ad-libs. But then Closure for me is kind of one of my favourites, and I think it's favourites from people that have listened to it, because that one, I think some people have not realised that it was Christian messages in there. Do you know what I mean? And then some people are like, well, I'm not Christian, but I kind of liked what it was all about, because for me, that was a autobiographical piece of music, because it that was kind of like my feelings through certain sort of things, like losing like family members and stuff, and like breaks up a relationship and stuff, and just navigating through that. So like I was saying, there was a certain song when I remember I made a song when my dad was ill. So it's like other people might not realise that, but when I hear that. But there's certain messages in there that I think from feedback it's helped certain people. Do you know what I mean? Like people have said, "Oh, you know, I like this album because it kind of helped me in certain situations." Yeah. So I think for me, as far as impact goes, that's one of my favourite like projects that I did. But like on The Uncanny is a different thing, because that was a personal thing for me from all the people that I have grown up with. Yeah. They kind of blew up at a certain time where it was kind of hard for me, because we all kind of had that vision of, right, this is our turn, you know, I'm going to produce for you guys or whatever. But then some of them moved down to London and just kind of blew up, and it's like kind of like, you left me behind. But at the same time, trying to be happy for them, but at the same time thinking, well, you know, I was supposed to like blow up with you guys, but a lot of that had to do with your means for putting things out. Of course. And it's kind of like, well, if you're MC, as long as you've got a studio, you got creativity and you can write, you can put stuff out. But if you're a producer, you can have all these stuff in your head and you can have rough demo tracks, but if it isn't polished and ready to go, then you can't put it out. Exactly. So it was kind of like, now's the time. But part of that was me. And that's the thing about, not entitlement, but it's the driving force, because it's kind of like, for me, it's like, I've had to work hard and build all this stuff and say, well, look, I'm doing this. Do you get what I mean? It's kind of like, I've got decks, and I've got these decks for a reason, and I spent this money for a reason. It's not just for me, but it's for other people. But I've had to build a studio. I've had to learn how to put stuff out, just to get things out. Do you know what I mean? Exactly. Or else I'm back at that stage where it's like, I have to wait for studio time. After the engineering has to be able to put these ideas into his software and hardware, and then construct it. So you're at the mercy of somebody else. Yeah. So yeah.
And the thing is, it's that culmination of time. So now as you're at that moment now, when all the pieces are in place, when you go to make that final step, it'll just flow.
Yeah, I think for me, it's like, it's gone past it just being about me. Because I get satisfaction from helping others. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if I've helped somebody taught somebody how to DJ, and then they go, if that actually happened, like, I taught this guy what I knew in that short space of time, then he went off to Kenya, and then it was just like a year later, it's just like, you just see on social media, it's like, yeah, you know what I mean? It's like doing these things in the club, and it's like, he hasn't forgot me, he's still talking stuff, and it's just like, for me, I'm the proudest person, because like, I think he was up for nominations over Christmas as well, for like, that DJ award over in like Kenya and stuff, and I'm just like, I'm happy, do you know what I mean? When I see people just flying, I'm happy, because if it's just me, basically for me, I've been thinking about this, like, if I die and it just says he made cool music and he played cool tunes and that was it, then what have I done with my life, do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's like, what have I done with my life? But because I think for me, when my parents both passed away, there's streams of people standing up to go and say, well, look, she did this for me, and when she was ill, she still had time for me, and like saying, oh, you know, your dad did this. Everybody's celebrating that person's life because there's a community style, how they affected the community.
Yeah.
And as a kid, I'm like, oh, that's my dad. Do you know what I mean? People come to my house instead of like coming to play dominoes and like, do you know what I mean, drink some rum or whatever and talk about cricket. They come in for advice, and it's like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And like people coming to see my mum, or when my mum was working and stuff, people sitting there having a laugh and a joke, and they're bringing the kids. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, that has an impact on you. Do you know what I mean? It's living a life for others, not just for yourself. Exactly. And living a life for your community as well. So
that's powerful.